Hey everybody, how you doing today? It's me, David, coming to you from my whiskey den here in Central Ohio, and with me is my little buddy, Whiskey. Right, Whiskey? Are you the good boy? Yes, you're the good boy, right? He doesn't know what's going on, but he doesn't know he'll be a star on YouTube, right, buddy boy? so, um, recently my wife and I took a trip down to Kentucky. We met some friends of ours, Jason and Kathy, who live in Idaho, and they were down in Tennessee for a little event. Then they had an extra week. We met them in Kentucky. We did some distilleries, and the icing on the cake was our final distillery, which was Wild Turkey. All right. Want to try some? I don't think you do. It's not for doggies. Um, so I gotta keep focused now. um, so we hit a bunch of distilleries. Have a video up documenting the distilleries we went to. Whiskey did not come with us, right? You're such a good boy. He's a very good boy. He's very kind, loving, and affectionate. Um, Whiskey, that is. But uh, what made this visit to Wild Turkey very special was that we went into their temporary gift shop, and master distiller Jimmy Russell has been known to hang out in the gift shop and sign bottles and talk to people who come in. And I told Jason as we're walking up to the gift shop, okay, eyes up front. We don't need to see all that now. Um, temporary gift shop. It's across the street from the distillery, from the offices. Why Jimmy Russell's not going to be here? But lo and behold, Jimmy Russell. We open a door, and right in front of us was Jimmy Russell himself. And you might wonder who Jimmy Russell is, don't you? Well, got a little info here. Jimmy Russell, on September 10th, 1954, which was 69 years ago, started working as a distiller at Wild Turkey. 69 years in the same job. Longer than I've been alive, and probably longer than most of you have been alive. Definitely longer than you've been alive, Whiskey. And you know what? In the 1960s, he was he was promoted to master distiller at Wild Turkey, and he's held that position ever since. Isn't that interesting? I think it is. So, and I think I said this. He's 88 years old. You want to look at those notes? You want to take that for me? Thank you. Um, and I gotta say, I've read a lot about Jimmy Russell, and when people have met him, that he's personable, um, and it's true. He was sitting there in his chair with a little side table, had a tumbler of with ice in it, with some Wild Turkey bourbon. I don't know which one. I should have asked him which one he was drinking. And he had a little bowl of popcorn and nuts, and he had a few pens because that's what he does. He sits there wanting to greet customers, wanting to greet people who enjoy the bourbon that it's owned by Campari, but he is the man who has the final say what goes into these bottles, and he's had that final say for probably as long as I've been alive, which is pretty darn pretty good. His son Eddie and grandson, sorry I don't know your grandson's name, Mr. Russell, are also master distillers, and I know at least Jimmy Russell and Eddie Russell, his son, are in the Kentucky Master Distillers Hall of Fame, Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame, whatevs. Um, and most people who've not even been alive half of the time he's been at the distillery probably wouldn't give you the time of day. But man, yeah, for a legendary master, just a legendary figure in the bourbon world, for him to be sitting there and signing whatever you want him to sign, as long as it's associated with Wild Turkey. I selected the Wild Turkey 101, their flagship bourbon, because I thought that was appropriate, since he's been, associated with Wild Turkey. My friend Jason had a few bottles of Wild Turkey 101 signed. I think a bottle of rare breed Wild Turkey rare breed, I think, and a bottle of Russell's Reserve, all signed for his collection and to give as gifts. And what another thing with Jimmy Russell was that he took interest in who was visiting, who was coming to the distillery, and asked where we were from, asked us about if we were married and our wives, and what brought us down there, and nothing about being an ambassador for Wild Turkey. It was basically as a person showing interest in other people who came in, and that's something that is really interesting. That it wasn't like he was this face of the corporation or this face of the bourbon, which he definitely is, but just as a guy just sitting there. It was a really cool occasion. And I, beforehand, for a while, I figured if I was ever going to meet the man, I did this. I thanked him for putting out a product and I honestly believe that this Wild Turkey 101 is a product that is honest. It's true to itself. It's not like this corporate thing, and it's widely available. It's affordable. And when you buy a lot of these bourbons that are just mass produced, they're decent, but the quality and the pride and the craftsmanship aren't there, in my opinion, to the extent that Jimmy and Eddie Russell put into Wild Turkey, especially the 101. 101 proof as an entry-level bourbon from a distillery. That's pretty darn amazing, don't you think that there, whiskey? Huh? So anyway, if you happen to be in Kentucky, the Wild Turkey Distillery, you might think of it as an afterthought. You might think of it as, there's other distilleries like Buffalo Trace or Maker's Mark and other areas, and you might think of Wild Turkey as being a budget bourbon, but it is very solid, and it comes with this multi-generational, decades-long history of one man behind that, which is Jimmy Russell, and obviously training his family to take over the reins. He is 88 years old. He is getting up there, so who knows how much longer he's going to be around. So again, if you are in Kentucky, you're doing the Bourbon Trail, make sure that you, maybe next time you'll come with me, Whiskey? Make sure you visit Wild Turkey. You might get lucky and actually see Jimmy Russell there in the gift shop. And if you don't, maybe, I'm sure if you ask if he can sign a bottle, he'd probably oblige, even if you don't see him there and he's there on the premises. So there you are. Wild Turkey 101, Jimmy Russell. And I will proudly be displaying this bottle I actually have it displayed on my signature shelf over, you can't see it, but it's over there in the corner. So until next time, it's me, David, and my little buddy Whiskey, coming to you from my whiskey den here in Central Ohio. Hope your next pour is your best pour. We will catch you soon, and thanks so much for watching, right? Say goodbye, Whiskey. Bye-bye. We'll check you out soon. Thanks again. Hey everyone, if you like what you see, please like and subscribe so you can be notified of future videos as they drop. Thanks for watching.